It's 2 for 2. All right, third shot. Let's see if I can do this. Anchor point looks good. Hey guys, this is Dylan with Late Season Hunter, and today we're at the range, and I'm going to be working on anchor points, because one of the things, since I've gotten a new draw length, plus where Bud instructed me to put my hand, it's kind of caused my anchor points to shift a little bit. It started to cause me to torque the bow a little bit, but torquing the bow kind of, just comes from when, you're gripping the riser too much, or you're putting way too much string tension, and your string's just not quite aligned with where it needs to be. But one of the things that would really help is me fixing some of my form and figuring out where my new anchor points are and how I'm going to actually take and make it my new shot form. So yeah, we're just at the range, we're gonna practice around, we're gonna talk about anchor points, why it's a good idea to have some, and yeah. Also, while we are here, I have this cool new setup, and you can actually kind of see it right there behind me. So basically, I take my bigger camera. This is the Sony a7 IV, and actually has a feature where I can actually take and hook it up to like a tablet, but there's this awesome app called Monitor Plus. It's for Sony cameras, and what it allows me to do is all I have to do is I just have to turn it on. It's connecting right now. And when it gets all done, hopefully here in 2 seconds, what it's going to do is actually going to take and put what the camera's seeing on the screen. And it's very low latency, so I can actually kind of see my screen as it's happening. And it's a little bit easier for me to see, did I hit where I need to hit? There's some cameras in here and they're really good, but definitely having the camera where it's at definitely makes it a lot easier for me to be able to see where exactly I shot. We're not really going to use this a whole bunch. I'm going to go down there, throw up my little targets, but I just wanted you to see what it looked like, because I mean, to have this ability where I can just take and look and see like, oh, it's right there. I can even record it. I just have to start, and there's a little red box that goes around the screen. But yeah, I could actually take and record what I'm doing. So I actually have some ideas for this screen, mainly some games I'm going to be doing with some friends. That'll help us with shot consistency. But yeah, I'm really excited for this setup. Now, this is just a simple Samsung tablet, and I have like a little cheap, crappy tablet stand, and then just an itty bitty old light stand. I think like, minus the tablet, the little setup is like maybe 15 bucks, if that. And I've had that stand for forever, just sitting around. And I think I'm going to actually put it to better use than what I've been using it for in the past couple of years. So yeah, let's just take and get set up really fast, and we'll talk about some anchor points. Just setting up my basic targets really fast. The one target I'm using, like always, it's playing card. Today is a King of Spades. I think it's King of Spades. So yeah, I don't really play playing cards a whole bunch. I just tend to shoot them a whole bunch. But yeah, so we're gonna do that. Then we're also gonna use just a little masking tape. I'm just gonna make a little 2x2 grid, just as a testing spot for me. So yeah. You're probably thinking, Dylan, why don't you just use the target that's in front of you? It's called being a little bit extra, so that I can actually get what I want. Like, I really like using a target, but I think one of the things for me is I can just quickly take and set up this small target, and I can do whatever I want. I can make, a little 2x2, or I could do a 3. Actually, I might do 3. 3 might be fun. But it just kind of gives me something that is a little more inconsistent. Like if I want to really test myself, this is a really good way to do that. So like today, for my my target, I think I'm gonna do actually just a little kind of funky 3-spot piece, because why not? I don't really care. That gives me a little bit more of a harder target to hit. Right there in the center of the king. So yeah, those are my targets for today. So nothing crazy. I think also like, I don't want this to be just like a uniform channel. You know, like I'm learning, I'm having fun, I'm doing a lot of like fun, like experiences, I guess is the phrase I'd say. So me coming in here and doing something different than what I normally do every single day definitely makes me feel good. And I like feeling good. We have the bow, and let's talk about the anchor points now. So what is an anchor point? Anchor point is basically a reference point that you put on yourself in conjunction with how you're interacting with your bow, right? So when you have an anchor point, basically you're always bringing back whether it's your hand, you're putting your bow arm in a position that you put every single time, and it's just a reference point, because if it's always different, like say like one time putting the string right here on my nose and the next time putting my string here on my nose, or maybe I have like my hand, like I used to keep it kind of up here a little bit more, now I kind of keep it down here. If I try and float in between these two areas, basically what's going to happen is it's just going to be all over the place. It's going to be super inconsistent. There's no reason to even side your bow at that point, you know, like you're always going to be all over the place. So having anchor points makes it a lot easier for you to make sure the only thing that's really like out of whack is maybe like just the day, you know, like maybe I'm not, you know, holding back all the way, maybe I'm not letting go and putting my arm in the same spot, but everything, like the more consistent you can be, the better off it'll be when you're shooting. Like anchor points is like top in consistency. You never do one thing one time and expect a good result if you do something different another time, you know? So yeah, so when I have my anchor points, basically I'm gonna take, and what I do is I take and I draw, and what I do is I take my wrist, and I'll get close to the camera, what I do beforehand is I take and I push my wrist up like that. And that's probably one of the big reasons why I was hitting my arm beforehand. But then the other thing I do is I'd take and I'd have basically like my nose on the string, and I'd put the fletching in my mouth. If the fletching is always different, I mean, it's not really going to make a difference. So now with my new anchor points, basically what I do is I take, let me shoot this really fast because it's starting to be up here quite a bit. I'm gonna aim just a little bit high. Almost. Just right off to this. I don't know, maybe it was a good shot, I don't know. Anyways, so now what I do, let me set the bow down. So from what Bud was teaching me and telling me, which I think so far from a couple times I've actually shot with it, it's making a lot of difference. So one thing I do, so first you take my hand, before I had my wrist high like this, and I mean, it's fine. I mean, if you're doing that, but you're definitely not gonna want like an arm brace, because that's definitely pushing this section of my arm out. But so now what I do is actually I drop my wrist down, and what I do is actually take and I run my bow right here along the inner part of this thumb muscle right here. And I just basically take and connect the entire thing. Then from there, what I do is I kind of curl in my fingers, and I kind of take and I bring my shoulder, I rotate it back. So I'm kind of holding the bow more like this. Okay, so it being up high where I originally had it before, it was always pushing. This causes me to push and keep this part of my arm down, and I haven't hit my arm in a long time. Fingers crossed. I wish I had some. Oh, there's one on the camera. But I haven't hit my arm in a long time, so that just is already telling me that my form is starting to be corrected. But that's just like, this is just one section of like anchor points. People are just thinking about the interaction with like the string to your face. In my opinion, I think anchor points is basically everything your body is having to do to get the shot, right? Because your body position, if you're always up here, you're down here. Even if you're up here, you know, like that's great, but you need to make sure you're always having your arms clear up there then. But for me, I'm just gonna keep my arms down, try to keep them in line and level. And then every single time now, that's just this arm. So when I take and I come back here, I make sure my finger is right behind the trigger, which, you know, if you have a thumb button release, you're gonna hold a little bit different. Every single release is gonna be a little bit different. So the way I originally pull back is part of it. And when I get here, my wrist turns, and I'm just gonna take, and my hand, so basically I take my thumb, put it right underneath my jawbone right here. I just line, and I kind of make, like the way Bud said, make a C. And basically this just allows it to sit right here. And that's honestly perfect placement. So if there's tension on here, and my thumb's here, this allows the thumb or the finger muscle right in between to go where it needs to be, because you're not supposed to, and I've learned this, and many of you have made some really good comments on where my finger position is on the index button release. It's not supposed to be here on your finger. It's supposed to be curled in about the halfway point, and you take and you pull through, and that is how you're supposed to use an index release. It's not like a gun where they say, you know, finger light on the trigger and you're putting it in the center of there. So a little bit different. I don't, you know, it's a little bit of an adjustment of me figuring out how to use this, but that's just that. So let me grab another arrow. So my interaction with the bow is pretty simple. So we've talked about the bow arm, we've talked about the release arm. My interaction with the bow is just my face connecting with the string. Now, when I'm talking about face connecting with the string, I'm not talking about like tons of force. One of the people on YouTube, maybe some of you have heard of him, his name's Chris B. I was listening to him talk, and even when I was talking to Bud about it, you don't want to have a lot of pressure on the string, because even just this little itty bitty pressure, there's slight string flex, and you can, if I get really close, you can see just a little bit of string flex. So if I'm pulling it out and all of it's out here, I'm so much further away from the cam that if I put any pressure, it's going to just make it way more exaggerated. So when I come and I pull up my bow, so let me get ready. I'm just gonna bring my arm out, pull back through. Basically, my hand right here is already in position. This allows me to take and basically drop into this little pocket. And I'm just gonna take and put my nose right where it needs to be. And I'm just gonna make sure everything's good. I know that this is probably where I need to be. And right there, I'm looking straight down my peep sight. So that helps me know that I am right in line with where I'm shooting. So that helps. That's a really good way. Like if you're really struggling with like your anchor points, set it up, make sure it's all good. But then as you're practicing, one of the things that I've been doing is I've just been taking and closing my eyes, get where it needs to be, and then open my eye to see if my eye is in line with that peep. And if I do that every single time, my anchor points are in the same spot, and then I can start adjusting the bow, getting it all set up. If I want to sight it in, work on it a little bit more, I can do all that. But without having proper anchor points, no matter how much I try and adjust, it's not going to work. Some other places I've seen people anchor, you know, and it's different depending on, you know, the type of bows they're using, the releases that they're using. If I'm doing like traditional archery and I have my glove, I take and I put the glove, the top finger right in the corner of my mouth. So every single time I know that when I get this string right here and my glove is right here in the corner of my mouth, I shoot, I'm good, okay? If you have your thumb button releases, that's gonna change it up. You have your hinges, your pull through releases. Everything that you're gonna do is gonna have a different anchor point. Every single time you adjust your bow, your anchor point is going to shift, right? That's why when I changed the draw length of my bow, it really, I mean, I can feel a difference, you know? And I didn't do anything super crazy, you know? I just shortened my draw length. But then from there, I increased my draw length, and when I learned where I should put my hands and how I should hold my wrists, literally everything changed. So if you change anything, go back and see the bow. So I'm gonna shoot a couple arrows, walk through that step every single time, do that little mental checklist, and we'll see the shot consistency. So we're here at 20 yards. I know because I've already sighted out. One of my things that I usually have on like a range day is I'm saying 20 yards. I'll bring my rangefinder, double check, because 20 yards really, like, I think it's just a really good standard place to put your first pin. So yeah, so we're just we're gonna shoot, and we're gonna just walk through my setup. I'm actually gonna take my little screen thing right here, right underneath the camera. That's perfect. All right, we're gonna slip my hat around because it's time to get serious, you know? All right, so I'm gonna throw a couple arrows down there. I'm gonna take, bring up my bow, bring it down. My bow hand is where it needs to be. My release hand feels right where it needs to be. I'll close my eyes, bring in my face. Looks like I'm right where that line is supposed to be. Nice, got one in. See if I could do it to all 3 of those. That'd be super impressive. But having this consistent anchor point is really gonna make a huge difference when shooting, because every single time I bring it in, I know I'm right where I need to be. Ooh, just low. Let's try this again. Let's go for the 4th one, or the 3rd one. Ooh, just out. Try it one more time. I have one more arrow right here. But my anchor points are feeling really good every single time. Just as long as I know I'm hitting those pockets, I bring it through, pull it back, close my eyes, and I can just bring my head right in. Ooh, just barely missed it. Just barely missed it. It's really nice having the screen right here, because I can just kind of look down, see, double check. But yeah, I mean, I am super close. I'm just barely outside of it. So yeah, I'm gonna do it one more time. But always having that anchor point, makes it really easy for me to work on consistency. Like, even though I missed where I was shooting, I mean, I am in the Scotch tape right next to that outside box, you know? So I still consider this like a pretty good success story of what I'm trying to do. I'm gonna try it again, see if I can do it, and we'll go from there. All right, try it again. Same thing, take, pull up and back, I'm gonna sit right into it. Good, my eye is right where it needs to be. Okay, I got one in so far. Anchor points, use them. It's 2 for 2. That is dang good. I'm getting nervous. Okay, all right, 3rd shot. Let's see if I can do this. Anchor point looks good. Bring her up. Just low. 4th arrow, recover me. So I can do this. Just low. Okay, here we go. Bummer. All right. Super close. Can I do it in the third attempt? I got 2 in. That's so heartbreaking. Almost though, right there. I mean, the 3rd arrow was right in line with it, and the 2nd one probably starting to feel the anxiety and the pressure. This is why I like doing these little games, because it helps me build up pressure and whatnot. But I mean, I'm still pretty happy with how this shot was gonna go. I'll do it one more time. I actually want you to see these shots with me, just so you can see where it's at. And my nerves definitely start to get the better of me, but that's okay. So we have shot 1, shot 2, and those are just like perfect shots. And then this one, which this shot is a little low, but I mean, it was still pretty good. And then this one, just couldn't pick it up. Just couldn't pick it up. Very, very close though. I try it again. Of the day, I gotta get home. Me and the wife are gonna have some fun today. It's our day off, so gotta come to the range whenever I can. So, all right, let's try this again. There's snow falling off the roof outside. All right, here we go. Pull it back, bring it over, looks good. I'm gonna consider it like a round, like a Vegas round, where if I'm in the line, I'm in the line. So I'm in the line. Try it again. That's 2. Last one. I'm gonna choke again. Hope not. Pull through. On over. I choked again. What a bummer. Try it again. Can't do it 4 arrows. Sunk it on the 4th. It's all right. It's all right, but use my anchor points. That's what mattered. That's what I'm practicing today. Well, guys, that's basically this video. It's super, super small again. Just really, this is me working on my anchor points, you know, like always having my bow arm in the same position. You know, I don't want to have my wrist too high or too low. You know, I just kind of want it right there. I'll naturally cause this shoulder to kind of rotate back, tuck in my fingers, pull back my bow. When I get there, make my C, put my finger right underneath my jaw, or my thumb right underneath my jaw. And then when I'm ready, have my finger over top the trigger. And when I'm ready, I squeeze and pull through. That's all of this stuff I'm talking about with it on my nose. I take a string on the nose, all that. And obviously I'm not doing it every single time where I'm just like, okay, here, here, here. Over time, eventually, as I get these anchor points, this is what I'm just going to get and be, you know, like I'm not going to take and be like, oh yeah, in my head, check, 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 check. It's going to become more natural. But right now, that constant checklist of needs to go here, needs to go here, that is what's going on in my head. So yeah, go out, shoot your bow, figure out what your anchor points are, because every person's a little bit different depending on heights, you know, your release, all that. Go out, figure it out. And if you're new here, this is me learning archery and hunting. I want to be doing more hunting stuff here in a little bit, but with how we just got into winter, it's a little bit more difficult to go out and kind of practice and talk about, you know, other hunting aspects. But I do want to do some things as I'm learning. I want to do a basically like a waypoint update, and that's I think what I want to call it, you know, because as I'm learning all the different techniques and strategies, I think it's really important to share what I'm learning. So yeah, those will be coming soon. But if you want to stay informed on my progress, hit the subscribe button. It's just one way that it's just gonna help me in the future. I want to do this more, but you guys hitting subscribe really helps me know that maybe I'm doing the right thing. So yeah, I'm really glad to be here. I hope this has been interesting. I hope if you have any comments, please comment. I don't care what it is. I take everything and I see how I can apply it. This video really is just the next step of me learning archery. So yeah, thanks guys. Talk to you guys hopefully in a week. But this is Dylan, Late Season Hunter, and have a good day. Okay, bye guys. It's 2 for 2. That is dang good. I'm getting nervous.